Hello, ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. It looks like we're trinketing. You got serve-owed. I like this card quite a bit. We're in a draft league. Looks like we're going to have single elimination leagues in the not-too-distant future, and I'm kind of excited about that. Trinketer is kind of the Army in a Can card. It's not quite grandma levels of Army in a Can, but it's very strong. Other notable cards in this pack, I suppose, are the Fabrication Module, the Motorist, to an extent the Artisan, and the Prism. But this is kind of a slam dunk. White's good, don't mind playing white cards, and certainly don't mind vomiting out servos. I'm not exactly sure what you take over Welding Sparks and or Cloud Blazer. I'm a little more interested in Cloud Blazer than Welding Sparks, even though Welding Sparks is very good. I think I first picked this out of this pack anyway. Like, Welding Sparks is very good. A blue-white deck that has Cloud Blazer is so much better than a blue-white deck that does not. And it's kind of a blue-white card. It's also kind of a blue-green card and a white-green card. Actually, this reminds me of talking about drafting Return to Ravnica, where like gold cards technically could fit into different guilds and things like that. There will be a podcast coming soon to talk about that. But let's start with the Cloud Blazer here. For those of you not yet in the know, I did a inaugural episode of a podcast with another SeemsGoodMagic personality, David Seville. He doesn't do draft videos here very often, but he has done some. You can find that on Mana Deprived if that's something that you would like to check out. This pack less exciting. This pack have grubs if we want to just abandon Home Slice here and go for an aggressive plan where the Trinketer's mostly a 3-2 and a mana sink late, which is fine. We could look at the Durable Handicraft. It's not my favorite build around enchantment, but it works. I also have kind of an unnatural love for the grubs. It feels a little weird passing Welding Sparks and then taking grubs and being like, yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. If there was a good white card here, I'd take it. I kind of feel like the grubs is just the best card. Yeah, Durable Handicraft can range from okay to bad, whereas grubs, especially if you can get like 2 or 3 in a deck, can be quite stupid. Quite stupid. Alright, I would like to play the Sky Whale. I actively like the Sky Whale. I've seen some people go in on Self-Assembler this early. I am not those people. But like, Propeller Pioneer leaves the White Dream alive. So I think I want to take that and see if we can kind of do something there. Fabricate Dudes also go well with the Trinketer. So I think the Pioneer and the Sky Whale are close. Like, sometimes your opponent's attacking you with a 3-3 and you need to block it. Propeller Pioneer can do that. So there's some flexibility here. The Sky Whale cannot do that. What the Sky Whale can do is end a game on its own. You got 5 turns to deal with this. And if you don't, you're dead. But I like Pioneer. I think we can go here and be pretty happy. Alright, I've been impressed with Aviary Mechanic. It does things and stuff. Can get one of your dudes out from a malfunction, or if its privilege has been revoked. So I feel like I'm just going to keep taking white cards and kind of see where we end up. I don't quite know what we're doing yet, but we'll figure it out. Generally speaking, Acrobatic Maneuver is kind of like the defining card for blue-white if you're doing that. I'm again not entirely convinced that we are. So I'm sure that there are people who will disagree with this pick, but I'm going to take the Harrier. This will just finish a game. If I'm 100% blue-white, I probably want that maneuver, but I can probably get another one if I want it. This pack has kind of medium playable cards for several different colors. None of them are actually that good. Of note, we've not seen good red. I don't anticipate seeing good red next pack, although it could happen. Like, I have played a Curio Vendor once. I was not particularly happy about it, but I needed stuff to be on the ground. I guess we just go with what's the actual best card here, and it's probably between Oatmeal Courage and Rats. I think I'll take the Courage in case green's wide open or we open a Nissa or something. Maybe that's a thing we do, but kind of not expecting it. But, you know, again, 4 solid playables in white, a little hedge into red, a little hedge into blue, and this is quite easily splashed off of a prism and a couple of islands or something if that's what we need to do. The Thriving Grubs are not only adorable, they are one of the best. Actually, I think they're just the best 2-drop in red. They're fantastic. I like Bastion Mastodon, but I've already got some 5s here. I may just want an Eager Construct. It plays okay with Built to Last. We'd already be pretty interested in a Chief of the Foundry here, and none of these other cards are actually very good. I don't think that's what we want to be doing. So let's get our Eager Construct. It's at least a playable 2-drop. Here we should start seeing things come back around, and here we see Trade Winds versus Spark of Creativity, to an extent versus Ruinous Gremlin. I have played all of these cards. I think Trade Winds has the highest upside currently, and I am interested in blue, but I wouldn't hate you for picking the Spark or the Gremlins here. Both of those are main deckable. These two are a little more fringe than the Aether Trade Winds is, though. There's the Maneuver, which I think if we can get ourselves set up to get some more Fabricate dudes, we can do something with that. I'm not uninterested in a Mastodon, though, but I think I'll take this and hedge a little bit more here. And this little duder can go in a blue-white deck. It's not great. Like, I'm never picking Stumpy here very early, but I can certainly take it here. You can little hedge towards red. I have played a Terror of the Fairgrounds when I had like 2 Edie Trail Hawks, and it was all right. It was not good. There's a Gremlin, so I mean, right now our red and our blue are kind of close. I've never actually sideboarded in Dramatic Reversal, but I would consider it against somebody that's playing multiple Malfunctions, so I'm still going to take it, but I don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is we're pretty solidly in white and happy about it, and then we've kind of got, these red cards aren't great, they're okay. The blue cards are pretty good. Whirler Virtuoso is interesting, very interesting. Animation module is one of the best modules you can get. We don't really, like, it proliferates and lets you make servos. It's really good. We don't have a lot to combo with it just yet. It does play nicely with the Patrol and the Pioneer. I'm also not particularly well set up to take advantage of energy, and splashing is not great in non-green decks. So I think there's some interest in taking the animation module and then just trying to pick up every Fabricate creature I can get after that, or every creature that gives me counters. Crane's fine too. White-blue doesn't play a million artifacts. Like, you've got to have something that does counters, right? Once you have the counter, you're good to go. But you got to have something that does counters. So it's like Pioneer, Grubs, Patrol currently. The card's too strong. I think we're going to take this and look for more counter shenanigans. All right, well, here are counter shenanigans. We've actually got some great stuff in this pack for our strategy. I would be interested in a Serpent. I said Serpent, but I meant Artisan. Also, another Pioneer has me very interested. It's interesting that we're going to be a deck that has some incentive to go wide as well as some incentive to make the counters. I think with the Harrier and the Pioneer, I can take the Artisan here. Although, again, I wouldn't hate you for grabbing the Pioneer. You could even make a semi-compelling argument to take Kimball, because we're not that heavily into stuff, and I have seen Kimball wreck stuff. That Fugitive. Shout out to Foundry Screecher for Alex. But yeah, we'll do an Artisan here. It goes with the module. And well, here we are. Options include but are not limited to Propeller Pioneer to play with the module, or Shrewd Negotiation to trade off a servo for a thing. I think I'm going to go in on the module plan. Again, there's not really much reason to take a card that's not white here. And as long as that's the case, I'm just going to keep doing that. When we get to a good card of another color, we'll talk about it, but we haven't gotten to anything yet. It's like, you got to do it. Normally, I don't love the Ibex. It would probably be pretty good here, though. I also, the Bazaar Barge is just fine. It doesn't really synergize with the module or the other stuff we're trying to do. Foundry Inspector's okay. Not great. But like the Ibix does something with the module. Maybe I should have taken that shrewd negotiation and just made a commitment, but I'm never thrilled to have an Ibix in my deck these days, and the Bazaar Barge can do something. I think the first vehicle probably adds something to the deck. It is huge, but it also kind of doesn't fit with our game plan, which currently looks like flyers and counter shenanigans. I'll take the Ibix. I don't know that that's 100% correct. Not really much here for us or anybody else for that matter. This is kind of just a wide swath of semi-playable cards. I don't think we're going to want any of these. I'm trying to see if there's anything that could feasibly make it into this deck. I have played Revolutionary Rebuff once when I was very short on playables, and I did not care for it. Again, Terror, we'd have to have several Hawks for me to want to consider that, and we just don't. Yeah, there's just none of these cards actually matter. I'll take a Giant Spectacle, but I don't think that's going to get played either. All right, so now we're starting to see some interesting things. There's a Fragmentize, there's a Build to Last. I'm still not exactly sure what our other color is, which is a very bizarre place to be. We're close to mono white. The turtle plays nicely with the animation module, which is not irrelevant. Like, that's a thing. But it's also really good on turn 1, and we're looking at some sort of 10-7 mana base currently because we're auto-mulling any hands without white. So I think I might prefer the Built to Last or the Fragmentize. Generally speaking, decks that are looking to win in the air are less interested in combat tricks. And I don't have an artifact removal spell yet, so I'm going to take the first Fragmentize. But I think we're moving more towards a blue-white deck than a red-white one. Meh. Yeah, this is a whole pack of meh. The Blade Master's alright. It's not great. I'm going to take it and put it over here in the maybes. Pillbug's probably the best card here, and that's not saying much. Again, kind of a pack of nothing. Pressure Point is pseudo-playable, so we'll nab that. We're pretty far off from wanting a Fireweaver or a Cobra of the Nonum variety or any other. This is something that I have played some. Like, it's an exceptionally fair card, so if we've got to run it, we'll run it. Ballista Charger wheeled, which is interesting. So did the Eager Construct. The Eager Construct is okay. I have not found this to be a format where 2 drops are necessary. That said, I probably do want 4 in the deck, and again, I think we're moving more towards blue-white than anything else. Get in the right spot, you little gremlin. I can get one later if I want it, though. And Ballista Charger, I don't know that it's getting mained, but it is very good against some decks. So we will see. And I have played Camels from the sideboard, too. Again, none of these cards actually matter here. Don't think we're getting Stompy, but we might. And the Turtle came back, so, like, maybe we still run it just for module shenanigans. Like, it's not super likely we're going to hit it on turn 1, and we don't have a lot to do with the energy other than this. So, I mean, it's okay. But it's not great. I guess what we're looking for is a reason to be blue. Oh, hey, look, a reason to be blue. I think I like that better than a train, but the fact that I'm thinking about it tells you something about Renegade Freighter. I think that something is that this card might have been pushed a little bit too much. It might be too good. It's the Healy's Artistry does things that just no other spell does. Which I like. I like a lot. We probably would like some more dudes. And again, the Ballista Charger's not a must play. I can put it over here for now. But yeah, you know, we've got Herald, we've got the Charger. I guess we could play the Blade Master if we have to. But certainly taking the Artistry here. Let's get autistic. I just want another Artisan. 3/3s for 3 are historically quite good. So let's get as many of those as we can. Again, it's interesting that we want to put counters on them and we don't. I guess it'll kind of depend on how our deck looks. This is an exceptionally late cub. Like, this is one, there's not many cards you're supposed to pick over this. And like, there's some argument for take it and play it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Why wouldn't you play one of the best 2-drops in the set, Travis? Well, if we're playing it, it's going to be on the splash. And again, in the 10-7 place, I'm not sure that we love it. Like, early, you can get a lot of energy and really wreck people with a cub. If we're in an 8-4, I might consider hacking it, but we're not. We don't really have much to do with the hawk here. Like, our threats that we want to fly already fly. So we're kind of looking at a second acrobatic maneuver, which is meh, a 9th bridge patrol, which is meh, or a wingsmith, which is just awful. I guess I'll take the second 9th bridge patrol, but there's not really much going on there. Midnight Oil, you say? That is one of my favorite cards in the set. I think seeing it this late is probably a mistake. Somebody has drafted it incorrectly. The second turtle is interesting, as is the built to last. Again, decks that are planning to win in the air, which I think we sort of are, right? Like, we're going to win in the air or we're going to overwhelm them. Don't really want a combat trick, whereas this just gives me another thing to do with that animation module. I think I actually want the second turtle now that we've got the first one and we're like, okay, we're blue. Malfunction gives us access to something we simply do not have yet. It would not be difficult to get a Gearseeker Serpent going in this deck. It doesn't look like we have enough artifacts, but when you start looking at things like this, we actually do. That said, our removal suite is currently Fragmentize. So I think having a card in the deck that can answer something is probably going to be something we're interested in. And if we need some mediocre filler level stuff, we've still got that over here. I've already got a Herald. I guess we'll take another Construct. I don't think it's super likely that we play it, but we'll see. Peafowl is something I'm very interested in now. It gives us another flying threat, as well as another artifact for the artistry. Again, green randomly was open all of a sudden. I don't think we're going to want any of this, but I have sided in Skygates before. I think we're going to end up playing 2 of these kind of fringe cards from the sideboard, which is fine. Like, in most drafts, you're going to get a couple really good cards and then have some filler cards. And generally speaking, what you want to do is try to trade your filler cards for their filler cards and then resolve your good cards and win the game. For us, the good cards are the animation module, the Cloud Blazer, the artistry, and the Trinketer. Those can certainly win a game. So Aether Theorist is quite a good 2-drop or another Malfunction so that we actually have removal. Like, I've got 2-drops that are okay. I think we're just going to take this Malfunction and be pretty happy that we have access to it. I have played the Express out of the sideboard a few times and it's been good. So we'll nab that here. I don't think we're very likely to want any of this, but maybe there's a matchup where a Hill Giant's just exactly what we're looking for. That would kind of surprise me, but stranger things have happened. None of this really matters, but I have sentimental attachment to Creeping Mold because it was from, I think, Mirage Block, which I liked quite a bit. And here we are. We even get a free watch. All this and a free watch. So we've got one fringe card that we need to play here. Options include, but are not limited to, Ballista Charger, Eager Construct, Herald, and Pressure Point. I think all of these others are cards that I might bring in, but I'm not super likely to play right out. So what is this deck really missing? What am I worried about? Kind of not much, actually. It looks pretty good. Like, now that we picked up the 2 Malfunctions, we have a solid game plan. We've got the animation module to do shenanigans. We've got the Trinketer, so I like that there's 2 mana sinks in the deck. We can proliferate counters. If we do have a need for extra energy, we can proliferate energy, which is kind of neat. This works with energy if you hadn't bumped into that before. I feel like one of the things that I'm interested in is not getting run over, and the Eager Construct and the Herald of the Fair kind of give me an opportunity for that. I think we can probably do a 9-8 deck, even though the blue splash is pretty low. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Herald here, mainly because I want a 3-2 to block X3s, not because I think it's a fantastic card. I could see when we're going on the draw, bringing in the Construct just to have something to play earlier. And if we find a deck that's mostly doing X1 things, we could do that. But I think this is what we want to do. And like, these turtles are pretty bad if I can't turn 1 them. I think I can get away with 9 white, 8 blue. Primarily because I don't have any double whites. So like, I can play for a long time with 1 white mana. We'd like to, so we could cast 2 white spells in a turn. But I do want to hit a double blue here, so I think we can do something like that. So it's very close to 10-7. But these turtles really want to come down as early as possible so they can do something. All right. I'm down with this. We've got some cool cards to play with and can certainly have some fun with this deck. So I will see you for round 1 in just a moment.